Hi listeners, welcome to your daily cup of coffee with Charu, where hopefully with a hot cup of coffee we discuss how to tackle the day and the week ahead based on the astrological aspects that are dominating the sky. Yesterday I briefed you on the Mars-Neptune square that's dominating the sky this week, and it's happening at the point where the solar eclipse of 10th of June will bring about a new beginning. We all have been discussing solar eclipses bring about fated changes. The changes that would normally take years and years to happen, solar eclipses bring about that all of a sudden. But there's a build up to the solar eclipse, and this aspect is very much part of a build up to the solar eclipse of 10th of June in Gemini, and Mars is right now standing at the very degrees where that eclipse is about to happen. Today, after a brief introduction, we're going to dig into your specific zodiac sign and see how this impacts you. You can catch me on YouTube as well as across the podcast platforms Anchor, Spotify. I will leave the links in description for you so you can access this episode also through the podcast platforms. My name is Charu and I'm your host on this journey. So let's dig in. As I mentioned in my post and podcast yesterday, Mars square Neptune will become exact on 9th of April, and it would be felt most of this week. Mars is our drive and Neptune tends to slow it down. But there is a hindrance for a more effective and inspired action that this aspect is trying to highlight to us before we go blazing into the eclipse season with a fated shift in our life. The 10th June eclipse would be starting a new chapter at the point where this aspect is happening right now. So, understanding this aspect and the dissonance that it is creating this week, the purpose behind that dissonance is very important for you to have the right kind of beginning on 10th of June solar eclipse. North Node or Rahu has already visited and activated this eclipse in January of 2021. We have already experienced the activation of this new beginning, whether we are aware of it or not. Some of the things might be happening behind the scene and we may not be fully aware of. They will fully come out, and the physical manifestation of it will fully come out to light during the June eclipses. But the activation of the eclipse already began in January of 2021. Mars right now, standing at that very point in Gemini, dares us to do the right thing before we enter the physical manifestation phase of that period, of that eclipse. With Neptune, Mars is trying to put the inspiration behind our action, the right inspiration behind the actions that we're going to take. A collective goal, some faith behind our actions, and making sure that we're going after something with the right purpose behind it. Sometimes we reach where we thought we wanted to go, only to realize later on that is not the destination we truly wanted to get to. And Neptune is trying to make sure that we understand that what we are going after is truly our purpose, truly our desire. Neptune dissolves social, political, religious, and personal boundaries as well that block our collective growth. And they block the birth of a new societal ideal. So, Neptune is trying to dissolve all of those hindrances and those boundaries that block that birth within ourselves as well. It teaches us to have faith in the unknown. So, if we are trying to take the practical route, the easy route, Neptune is going to try to stop us in the tracks. It teaches us to have faith in the unknown, to aim higher, aim for a higher purpose, higher road. It teaches us to love unconditionally, allow the barriers to disintegrate, and act out of a place of pure inspiration to contribute to the society versus for ego gratification or for fitting in into the society and our surrounding. It undermines the success which comes without service to the collective and without service to your own soul. It is trying to keep you honest to your own soul's purpose. Nothing is done fully for altruistic purposes, but Neptune demands that our motivations aren't inspired by pure ego boost or societal pressure. A very creative aspect is currently happening, and it makes us sensitive to both our soul's purpose as well as to the collective need and styles. So, what we create is made out of pure love. It is made from a place of wanting to channel our soul. And there is an element of self transcendence over here where we don't necessarily keep ourselves and our ego gratification as the front of what we are trying to do. What we hold at the front of our mind when we are going after something, when Neptune is aspecting it, is a higher purpose. And that is bound to touch others on a deeper in a deeper way. And it will serve the collective in a much, much more meaningful way. So let's put some meat on the bones now by looking at your sign. And as usual, check your rising sign. That is the key indicator. And if you're able to, check the sun and the moon sign for a fuller picture. But rising sign would be the key indicator for how this aspect is playing out for you. So let's dig in. Hi Sagittarius, for you this specific aspect and the 10th of June eclipse is going to open a new phase in your contracts, in your partnership, in your commitment. This is like starting a new phase in your marriage, in your business partnership, or in a contract that you're initiating, and there might be certain confusions and some choices that need to be made before you can fully go into it when the June eclipse happens. And there might be some fated incident that have already happened towards end of December or early January that have planted the seeds of this new change that is happening in your life. It will fully unveil itself in June, though some groundwork of that would be going on right now, although there is a hurdle from home, family, place of living, which is a topic of confusion for you. And that is a hurdle that needs to be resolved. This new start with a personal partner or with a spouse or a loved one could be blocked due to lack of acceptance from parents or disagreement on the place of living. This comes to surface to be handled as you try to make decisive decisions. Similarly, if it is a business partnership that you're starting or a new contract which is of business nature that you're starting, a new job contract, a new opportunity to work with clients, to use your knowledge, your skills to connect with others, you might be facing a hurdle in terms of your place of living or in terms of not being able to leave your home, family, or maybe there's a family person who needs you and you need to take care of them, they're sick or something, and there's something you need to, as an obligation that you need to sort of pay attention to. Somebody in your home, family is taking your attention, because of which you're not able to pursue this commitment. And that is the hurdle that you're facing right now. It could also be your own emotional home. We all have a home within a psychological home, the place we think beyond which we cannot go. And this might be out of your comfort zone, what you're trying to do. And there might be an internal hurdle within yourself that you need to cross. Sagittarius, your negotiation skills, your diplomacy is one of the best in across zodiac signs as an archetype. So negotiations, diplomacy, talking, thinking about agreements is not really a problem for you. But when family and home comes into picture, it's like it melts you. It's your soft spot in some ways, where you know you don't have much boundaries, and other people's need in your home and family becomes your need in some way. It's tough to ignore that for you, as you have lower boundaries or no boundaries of what you would do for home and family. And sometimes that causes confusion because you are not able to integrate this need to start something new for yourself and what is being asked of you from your personal life. Sometimes you have to realize, though, not taking a decision is worse than any other option. not just for you, but for the people in your life. And with Neptune in your house of home and family, you might be more idealistic about either your home country or about your relationship to your family and closed ones. You might be making too much of a sacrifice there. Neptune, and you might be required as well to make a sacrifice for them. Neptune sometimes puts an ocean between. Neptune is the planet that rules seas and oceans. So sometimes it puts an ocean between us and our home. And at the same time, not making a firm directional decision might be impacting your family life. And this is a tough position. This is a very tough position of Neptune. It's the toughest position of having this planet because it's a nebulous planet, it's a confusion planet, and it's in your house of the ground on which we stand, our comfort zone. So we don't feel secure within, we don't feel grounded essentially when this happens, and it can make it very tough to commit to others professionally or personally when the ground you stand on is not steady. It can drain us emotionally as we are being pulled inside in two directions, and that can make us physically weak. Self-care is very, very important here, and it is often neglected in this cycle. You have a home within, an emotional, stable core within, which can support you as well. And you're trying to possibly rely on an external home, external family, and their viewpoint, maybe too much. Neptune transit leads normally to a distance from family and a spiritual home away from home. It's a transit that began in 2011, so the home patterns and the way you are with your family and the way you live with your family and where you live might be shifting. Neptune dissolves what is not real. So the patterns in your personal relationship, the patterns with home and family, the patterns of your family which you have inherited, they might be coming to surface and getting dissolved. And this will continue till 2026. I normally see extension of confusion over the place of living during this transit. But it mostly happens over the span of 2 years when Neptune is on your fourth house cusp. So right now Neptune is at 22 degree, which for Sagittarius, if you're a Sagittarius sun, born around 14th of December, couple of days before, 2 or 3 days before, 2 or 3 days after, they would be facing this confusion the most about place of living. And security, what makes you feel secure? So when you are not feeling secure in yourself, that's where it becomes difficult to go all out into a professional contract, and that's the hurdle, that is the hesitance, that's the temporary hurdle that you are facing in moving forward. Security is to be found not in the old patterns and bonds. Neptune is trying to dissolve the old way you used to feel secure. So anything that used to make you feel secure in the past is kind of being dissolved because you need to go for something more. Security is to be found not in the old patterns and bonds anymore. As meaningful as they might have been in the past, but they kept you grounded. And in some ways, they are keeping you, even right now, chained to the past and your past patterns. But you have moved on from that place. The more you'll try to regress, the more you'll try to move forward, the more this family past, your heritage, the family karma is going to regress you backward. This is something you'll have to keep in mind because we are not possibly going to be able to see this clearly because your boundaries with your home and family and their patterns is very, very low right now. You are not your mother, you're not your father, and some of that alignment in our mind, which all of us make, that this is something in me because my father was like that, this is in me because my mother was that. The more you try to align yourself with that, the more that is going to take you away from the true choices that you as an individual need to make. Each one of us hold potential in our life to shift the family karma. Each one of us hold the potential to change that pattern that one of our parents had. Those complexes, those parental voices in the head, they might be playing out even right now in your personal and professional life. And this current transit is trying to bring that forth to resolve it for once before you can start a new commitment in your life. An unfinished business with one of your parents, normally a father figure, is projected onto the new commitment in your life that you're trying to make. And that could be to a partner. Sorry, it's raining dramatically here. Your personal needs and complexes, they might be coming in the way to commit to a professional new start. So this is something within you, a battle within you that is going on, and you'll find that it's coming in the way for you to fully commit to a professional new start that is right in front of you. No matter how old you are, it's never too old to tell yourself to not be afraid to be who you are without your past conditioning, as you might be challenged to stand up for your true self right now. Also know in this experience that no physical place or person is ever going to give you the security that you need. Neptune dissolves everything external that we lean on. This is a long-term transit which psychologically dissolves our dependencies on old things that we and people we've been relying on. We're being asked to create foundations that exist with or without anyone in our life. It's not an easy transit. But once you have that core within yourself, this foundation, new foundation you're creating for yourself, once you have that elevated security that you are creating through your spiritual strength within yourself, then the fun partners can come in and go, commitments can come and go, projects can come and go, dubious jobs can come and go, clients can come and go. You can take on all sort of exciting projects, all sort of exciting places, but you always carry that home within you. And that in turn attracts the right partners, the right commitment to you as well. So you might be, being caught in that track. If there's a hindrance you're feeling right now, know that you're being asked to handle an internal personal problem before you go all in. And to be very honest with you, when Neptune is making a square with a house of partnership, there's normally something we are not seeing clearly as well. There's something missing that we are ignoring in this new start. So maybe it's not yet the time to put all your eggs in one basket. Maybe you need to, by being stable within, figure out, is that what I really want? Or is it because I really need something or someone in my life and that's why I'm moving to that? Be careful in terms of making decisions, in terms of signing things right now. Check your motivation. Check your conditioning. Whose conditioning is having you make that choice? Is that your choice, or is that an external choice that you're being asked to make or forced to make? This has to be fun for you. This has to be for your spirit. This has to be for your growth. This is your life path. This is your relationships. This is your commitment that you as a person needs to carry forward. You are the skilled one. You are the one with the brains. You are the ones with the thought process. You are the ones with all the goods to back it up. So there's no need for you to compromise here to go a certain route because you think somebody else needs you to. As I said, your boundaries with others are lowered here. So make sure that this is your choice that you're making, and the rational behind it. Neptune tries to make the rational, the intention behind our motivation kosher. So you're very motivated to make that step, but what's the inspiration behind that motivation? That's what Neptune is trying to check with you. How far away from who you are as a person would you be going to get there? Which is, You do need to go far away from what you were in the past because you're growing as a person. But sometimes our value system don't go in the direction where we can identify with who we are. So it's trying to make it kosher, essentially. That's what it is. And once you sort of feel more stable in your core, you'll make the right choice and you'll attract the right partners, you'll attract the right commitment to yourself. It would click in. But if right now, as I said, a step back is coming, it's to rethink a little bit. So good luck for that, Sagittarius, and I'll see you in the next video now. Thank you.